context, we have realized the hybrid till has been the best concept, which has been working very fair for us. So you say 30% of your non-aeronautical activities is used to subsidize the aeronautical charges, which has been fixed by the regulator.
Good morning to all the listeners and viewers, and greetings of the day to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. Welcome to another exciting episode of Airworthy Talks by Udaan Aviation Academy. And today we have with us the very young and dynamic from the new kid in town, Adani Airports. And joining us is Mr. Mitthun Singh, Senior Manager Commercials at Adani Airport. Now, Mitthun sir has been an airport non-aeronautical guru and has worked across many airports like Mumbai, Bangalore, Bali, to name a few. And we are excited to hear from him into the world of airport commercials. So Mitthun sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. So sir, let me get on to the $1 million question itself. One thing which people ask a lot and students are also curious about is, how do airports they ultimately make money, or what is their different businesses through which they end up making money?
So thanks for the introduction, Subhashis. Well, I'm not guru. I'm quite a learner, as you guys are doing it. And see, the airport business is heavy capex driven business, and it's a highly regulated business. And by virtue of making people travel, we associated activity which we do at the airport, we make money. So the question is not how airport makes money. The question is how airport makes people travel easier, and by virtue of those activities, how airport also make a little bit of money, which with the associated activities. So the tendency has been, the whole non-aero talks has been the success of the PPP airport, which is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, and Mumbai. And then people realize, there's a huge potential which comes from these airports by privatizing it. So to your question, how airport makes money is simple. If you have a travel journey, and in between this travel journey, you have a stop, right? In those particular stop, which I call it, you have auxiliary activities which you do it, and by doing those activities, how you engage people for those 1.5 hours and 2 hours. And with those activities, how do you generate revenue? So that has been the talk 8 years, 10 years before. Now the talk has been how the airport itself is a city, and how do you create this whole vibrant environment where you have a different infrastructure, you bring people to that particular place and you make money. So Changi is a better example in that case. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that, sir. And a lot of points to pick up from what you just have said. Previously, it was more about just people going from A to B to catch their flight, and that is what airports were previously looked at. But now airports, as you just mentioned, those intermediary stops within those passenger journeys and how do they consume services is an essential part of it. Now, you have been a major part of associating yourself with the non-aeronautical business. So one thing which people want to know is that how is the day in the life of Mr. Mitthun Singh, or what is the day in the life of an airport commercial manager?
So much is, there's two things. It's quite interesting. So I will give an example. When we had taken over Bangalore airport, when I joined in, it was more of the airport had just started, a month old. And the challenges was, how you ensure that all the facility which is associated with those airport, it was like car parking, you have the transportation side, which was heavily dependent in Bangalore airport. How do you make it more convenient and smooth? So the focus was not how you make money. The focus was how operationally efficient a commercial operation goes very well. And then you have overall airport operation goes in very well. So those times the challenges was, you have 24/7 phone calls coming in that ye taxi wala ne ye kar diya, this car parking ticket is not coming, there's no manpower coming when you had this festival season coming in. So those times the challenges was quite different, because we knew that these are the facility we required and how we have to ensure those facility runs properly. So that was the challenge. But when you went to Bali, Indonesia, the challenge was, it was a government airport. And coming to your first question, how your airport makes money. So there was a trend, that government said that, we are not going to give you money to Indonesian authority, the airport which we were working, and you have to make your own money and run these airports. And
Right.
that's how we were picked in to go to Bali. There, the challenge was how you bring in the best practices. So the focus was, how you plan your layout, how you run the operation, going for a quality service, going for a training for the staff, billing them at the right time, issuing the invoices, collecting the money, fighting with the concessionaire to ensure the quality of services is very well, customer complaints, reverting them within 24 hours. Those were the challenges which we had experienced. Now, when you come to Adani as an airport, we took over from AI. The best part has been, Subhashis, is we have been hit by two of the worst pandemic, two waves. We took over this airport when the first wave had hit. This was the biggest challenge for any commercial guy in his career. You have been hit by the waves. You have all the retailers out of your airport, all the shops closed, nothing there in your outlet. Now you have a bigger career challenge, which you said you might have worked with Bangalore, Bali, Mumbai, whatever. Now it comes your experience, how you ensure that you get back this outlet, right?
Right.
And this has been the best part when the pandemic struck. We went out to the market. Personally, my focus was simple. Whichever the shops are closed, we have to bring them back. Commercial is not a concern. Concern is when the passenger comes inside the terminal, the store should be open. It should be live and people should just experience it. That was the more focus. So there the challenge was, fighting with your own management, telling them that, look, we might not get the same rentals what we were getting at the pandemic time, but the focus should be we want them at the airport. Then there were services, like baggage wrapping services, money exchange counter, car rental services. You cannot say that we will run this airport without going into those services. So there was a fight with the concessionaire and then our operation team, because now the focus has been that anything you do in the airport, it has to be a commercial function. Earlier, it was simple. We used to tell the operation team, "Yaar, tum charging station dal lo." You put this, for example, you put a sanitary pad. We used to tell them. We used to say, now when you go back to commercial, they say, no, there's a commercial element into that. There's a branding fee associated with that. And then it should be driven through commercial team, because you can make money out of those charging station or, this services which are associated. So the challenge was different. When you say the worst part of our life always been the beginning of the month and end of the month. Why I say beginning of the month is it's like you have your target in mind, you have given some working to the management, and that's what you have to achieve. So the beginning of the month is always you review the previous month, what went well, what will be good, and then how you achieve the things. Now a lot of people don't realize commercial is not only about cracking a deal, right? Cracking a deal with the retailer, signing of a contract. You to close a one contract, it takes 15-20 days time with a concessionaire, right? And if you're working with a bigger brand, they have their own terms and conditions. Once you do that, the next focus comes is once you sign a contract, whether the person is depositing his security deposit, he's getting access inside the airport, because you guys know that how difficult it is to get an access to the airport, right? So you are hand holding that guy, you are opening the shop, open ho gaya, then there will be complaint with operation guys, uska light theek se nahi dala hai, uska fitting it is not being done. So there's enormous on that. Once you open the shop, you have to see whether he's making money or not. If he's not going to make money, he's not, end of the day, we will generate him the invoice. And in airport, the concept works, the invoice gets generated beginning of the month. And then at the end of the month, you do the revenue sharing billing. So it's been, if you're working in any of the airports now, which we have taken, or even Bangalore, it's a wonderful experience for the day. Some days are good, some days are bad. Plus, there's a major part, Subhash, is commercial has a function in a day. If you see, it's like 30 to 40% of our time goes on the ground. That we have to meet the concessionaire, we have to meet the new parties who are coming to the airport, we meet the existing parties, we have our own internal reviews. The another 60% of the time goes into exploring the new concept and new businesses. So that has been the case. And after the first wave, we were also hit by the second wave, where the concessionaire who we bought back with a lot of confidence that you will do good business, aviation was picking up, and suddenly you back in May and June, you see the passenger numbers goes to 30%, and now again you have a task to ensure that they are there with you. So
Right.
it's a very interesting field, and in people, youngsters, whoever join, you need to be flexible. You don't need to be rude,
Mhm.
and life goes on. Yeah,
Absolutely. So it's quite an happening day. You
yeah.
mentioned not only sort of solving the current which is out there, meeting with the concessionaire, making sure that they are there, but also looking into the future as to what could be done next. So quite an happening day out there. Now, sir, one thing which has struck the entire aviation industry, particularly in India, is that how Adani Airports have risen out of the blue in the last 2 years and now have 6 to 7 airports. So, what is one thing which the Adani Airport is doing differently from that of its competitors, from that of, let's say, GMR or someone else out there? Yeah.
See, Subhas, I should not be commenting. I might not be the right guy. The CEO will be the right guy to comment. But one thing I'll tell you, the youngsters, I have joined Adani. One thing I see over here is, which you as a young people at the team who also there in the Udaan should be very proud. They allow you to do things on your own. The best part of Adani is like me being in Ahmedabad, and the kind of responsibility and the kind of uh, you know uh, openness which is given to you. You're free to explore. We have been in the logistic side of the business. So for airport, it's nothing new. We have been in that kind of business. But one thing great which Adani has been doing is, and if you see from our CEO also has been Dr. Malay, is been the customer experience has been the focus. The direction has been do anything, be it commercial, be it operation, anything. It should have been the customer experience keeping in the mind. And mind it, we have been managed at very micro and macro level on this customer experience factor. Of course, we will make money. We are there in this business to make money, but the customer has been the catch point. And just yesterday, we received an feedback survey to entire Adani team that please give us a feedback how we can differentiate our customer experience. And by doing that customer experience, how do we make money?
Absolutely brilliant, and rightly said. Customer is the king in any business. So if we
Yeah.
are customer focused as a business, then obviously we will go a very long way, and that's a very wonderful approach taken by Adani out there. Now, sir, when we there is this technical term in the airport commercial business. It's called as the till model. So there is single till, dual till, and hybrid till model. So what is this till model all about? Could you let our young students know about it?
See, so much as experts will has deliberated and things like that, they will be the right people to answer. But I'll tell you in a very simple term what we have realized and industries have realized is when we started flying, the entire infrastructure, whatever were associated with building the airports, the cost has to be passed on to somebody, right? And that was impacting the overall travel people do. If you look at the air prices, the ticket prices which was there before when we even in 2008 or 2009, and today what it is, you can fly in 1,500 or 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 also. So what has happened is there has been elaborate discussion what is aeronautical, what is non-aeronautical. There has been deliberation. There has been a deliberation that non-aeronautical activity has to be kept aside from the aeronautical activities, and then the prices has to be passed on to the airlines as well as to the customer as a whole, right? The pax fee and things like that. Then the thought came is, see, you are doing all these activities at the airport, right? Be it F&B, retail, duty free, and everything.
Hmm.
And if you want to make travel affordable, who are your two key factors? Airports cannot function without airlines. Airlines cannot function without airports, right? There are two key factors. The whole function has been by virtue of you doing an activity at the airport, can the income which you are generating, can you use that income to subsidize the aeronautical side? So the whole point has been that how do you subsidize the aeronautical side? Because see, airlines has to survive. You know how difficult has been for the airlines itself.
Right.
and whole concept of the single tail, dual tail, and the hybrid tail came in. And now in Indian context we follow the hybrid tail, where certain percentage of the revenue from the non-aeronautical side is taken to subsidize the aeronautical side for fixing the tariff to the airport to generate an income. So that's a simplified version on that, I can tell you. There has
Thank
been
you.
deliberation which is the till best, but in Indian context we have realized the hybrid till has been the best concept, which has been working very fair for us. So you say 30% of your non-aeronautical activities is used to subsidize the aeronautical charges, which has been fixed by the regulator.
Excellent, excellent, sir. Very insightful out there. Thank you for that. Now, this pandemic has changed the way businesses perform, and the airport business has been no different. So, how the airport shopping experience for the passengers have changed in this pandemic, and how Adani as an airport operator has tried to sort of overcome the challenges in this pandemic and still have that shopping experience flawless.
So, Subhash, like I said, beginning of the discussion itself, the major focus was that ensuring 100% of our outlets remain operational. That was the major challenge, which we successfully ensured that whichever outlet at the concept which we had are operational. Second thing, what we have noticed has the airport, and me as a user itself, right? What I am seeing is, if you look at the shopping experience or the sales which is taking place at the airport, even though we are at 50-55% of the pre-COVID level, the stores are generating income of a pre-COVID level. So what I'm trying to say is, all the passengers have been 50%, but the sale is clocking back at the pre-COVID level. So for example, a store which was doing 28 lakhs in a pre-COVID situation with 100% passengers, today with the 55% passenger, 50% passengers striking the same sale. And why that sale is coming? Because retail also has realized that, we have to evolve, reach out to the passengers. And airport also has realized that, by keeping things open, passengers will buy, right? And there's nothing being different. I say there's nothing hard and fast rule, but it's simple, clean, hygienic, and things will work in your favor. You don't need to do anything extra as a per se.
Absolutely right. Sanitation has sort of have become much more in this pandemic. I remember once we interacted and you said me that one of the best ways to judge an airport is to look at their restaurants and their toilets as to how clean they are. And,
correct.
Yeah, and that's the benchmark. And I feel that's where the airport have sort of changed a lot in this pandemic, where sanitation has become a major key to sort of drive the passenger experience. Right. Now, sir, moving on to this is for our young students who are out there. So, sir, how does the career roadmap looks for someone who is planning to join the commercial team? So, what sort of skill sets they should have?
See, so the best part of the airport commercial has been that you could have worked with any of the real estate or any of the shopping malls, any of the retailers, and you can be part of the aviation industry in the commercial team. Right. So when you go back, in 2008 and 2006, 2007, I as an individual realized people were looking for people who had airport experience. And why airport experience is more of to know the regulation, the thought process, what you can do, what you cannot do, and things like that. That was the you say 2008 when Bangalore opened, Hyderabad opened. So that was a thought process. And you had to bring in expert from overseas who will tell how much area you require for retail, F&B, and things like that. Now, when Mumbai and Delhi airport came in, and even the upcoming other greenfield airport, the thought process completely shifted. The thought process shifted that it has to be commercial driven. And how do you differentiate it? So then how you differentiate it, you have to bring people from outside. If you have the same airport thought process, or you might think in the same alignment, but if you bring people from outside, maybe the fresh ideas and things will come in. So my suggestion to also as a friend and everything is be versatile. If you are in the airport, experience or have a specialty or whatever you like, you do it one area and that same thing can be expanded as you work in the environment.
Right.
One thing is very clear, which is airport is a stress. It is not the luxury job what it looks from outside. It is a stress. It is result oriented. So it is passionate actually. So people who are flexible, you need to be flexible. Master one of the skill actually, whichever you're good at. You don't need to copy anybody. Ki, "Yaar, sir, koi aata hai, I should do this." No, master one of the skill which you are very good at, and then sky is the limit. So for me, convincing a brand is very easier because and that has come through an experience that why should you be there at my airport and why you should not be there at the airport.
Right.
Operation has been one of my strengths, where I realize there's nothing fixed line. There's always options which is there. So I suggest people with Adani 6-7 airports, focus being in non-aeronautical revenue. They are looking for people who are out of the box, who can bring in a different idea which has never happened. So bring out that idea, and Adani is definitely with 7 airports. They're looking for young people who can bring a change, right? How you can do the business differently, which is not being done. So there are huge knowledge pool required. And to be frank, you might have seen, Subhashis, after pandemic, even in my friend circle, what we talk about, getting talent has become very tough.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So there's a huge things there. And basic, we say you should be good in your mathematics business skill, because if you're a commercial purpose, you should know how much you can get it from the retailer, or what kind of a concept will work for you. So good in mathematics and a little bit of humble and polite. It will help.
Absolutely. So combination of technical, non-technical soft skills and the side of it. Now, sir, the next question is something which is very interesting. What is that one secret that airport commercial professionals like but common flyers they are not aware of? They are not aware of.
See, what I have also personally experienced, Subhash, is the best part have been I joined aviation industry, which I was almost 20 years old, when I'm quite young. And the best part I have seen it is, when you look at from the inside, it looks very simple when a person travels or when you meet from people from industry. Kya hota hai, yaar, ek to dukaan to lagana padta hai. You put a 40 square meter of shop, and how the best part and one thing which I have seen is your networking in the industry. How well are you as a commercial? And second thing is know-how of what is happening around you.
Right.
So what happens with me and you, everything is we are so much bogged down with our own work that we don't see what is happening outside.
Right.
And one key parameter I'll tell you, commercial, is it is good to know what is happening around you within your department, but it is very important to know what is happening around. Because क्या होता है कि suddenly एक दिन newspaper में आता है इस airport ने ये कर दिया, this person has done this, that's something, and you are completely taken on surprise कि हमने क्यों नहीं किया, right? So only the key factor what I have seen it is be good in your own industry, but also read about what is happening around you, and change the business model. It cannot be same, right? That has been the skill set. Or if you ask me what has my been recipe, Subhash, is when I was growing up, I spent my career in Bali. I spent my entire money in traveling the world. That was my USP. And what I realized is, by virtue of traveling, I went to see more than 20 international airports, right from Amsterdam to Incheon to Singapore. Changi has been multiple times, to Heathrow. And I realized that, see, whatever they do to the best. They're not like a jugaad जैसे हम इंडिया में करते हैं ना कि कर दिया. Whatever they do with the best and with the complete energy, and that is what we lack actually. So I could tell the youngsters, travel throughout India, tier 2, tier 3 cities and small tourist destination, pick up some good ideas, and that good ideas can be developed actually to a larger picture.
Brilliant, sir. Brilliant. Quite a thoughtful for our listeners as well out here. It's all about not knowing what is there happening within the department where you are, but moving beyond that as well, knowing the entire industry. Right. My final question to you is, sir, what's the larger picture in the minds of Adani Airports leadership going forward? So now we have got so many airports. What is the way forward, or what is the vision with the airport in mind?
See, again, so which is what I have seen, and being part of the same commercial team, the challenges is huge.
Yes.
Is huge, and with Mumbai there, things like that, how different we can do it, and it's a competitive industry. So, see, the vision has been that how do we leverage? Adani has been known for ports. It's been known for the logistics side, but how do you differentiate and create an industry and on its own? So what the best part has been, each of the vertical of the commercial which has been there. How do you get into the depth of those businesses, understand the nitty-gritty of the businesses, and how can you leverage that particular vertical? So I will give you an example, and I'm always passionate about things like this. Your ground transportation business, right? To and fro, traveling from the airport. And I always add this. See, आपके पास 40 million passengers आते हैं airport पे, right? Those 40 million passengers has to come to the airport. What is the mode of transportation they are taking in? And with virtue of they taking a certain mode of transportation, is there a potential for you to make a money out of that?
Right.
Always the infrastructure has been, people say, yaar, metro hai, government banayegi, bus hai, government karega, and this I will do. But there has been a holistic thought that no, building an airport and the last mile connectivity, how can you generate the business and what are the different ways you can generate a revenue? So the mindset of the leadership has been that let us not limit ourselves to what has Bangalore, Mumbai, and Delhi has done it. Okay, they have done, that was a time, no COVID, nothing was impacted, and you have made money. World has changed. We should accept it. How do you leverage your strength as a group, which is strong in the infrastructure side, and what different we can do it? That has been the thought process. And as I said, Subhashis, and this is very important for me also, and you as all the youngsters who are watching, is you should get into the detailing of the business. That is a key. हम भी थे ना, पहले क्या होता था, when you used to work in Bangalore, we used to know the concept. हम सोचते थे बस इतना ही है ना, और क्या करना है. You went to Bali, most of the hundreds of international brands, like right from Gucci to Chanel and all this. बोलते हैं क्या है, brand है, इतना margin है, इतना ही करना है, right? But the best part of my experience and my working career with Adani Bean is you do end-to-end, Subhashish.
Okay.
And by doing end-to-end, get into be an entrepreneur on yourself. So if a Mitthun is running a business, you should be like an entrepreneur. End-to-end, you should know what is happening in the business. And what is your EBITDA margin, how much you can make it. So that has been a great experience for me as well. So this is what their group has leveraging it actually. And I will not go into the major scale. You will come to know when things are out and focus has been. But now the focus has been only on the customer side, Subhashish. Money has been in part, and we will definitely make it. The focus has been the customer journey. And we have listed down some hundreds of thousands of points in each of these categories, and which should be good to be there at the airport. Best to be at the airport, okay to be at the airport. So a lot of things are happening at our level, but at the larger group level, we are also deliberating that how you can leverage the strength of 6 plus 7 airports, so that wherever you fly, you seems that you are not disconnecting, you are connecting the dot. So that has been the thought.
Absolutely, and very well said out here, sir. I'm quite sort of stunned as to how the thought process is, and really happy that every employee, if they think that they are entrepreneur and know the end-to-end journey, the control over what they do is much better that way. So that's a very thoughtful leadership out there, sir. Thank you. And now moving on to our final section. This is something which we do with all our guests. It's the rapid fire section. So I'll be asking you certain questions and, the simple crisp answers out there. So, sir, my first question to you is, if Mitthun sir is traveling and Mitthun sir is on a duty-free, store, what is that one product which you would pick?
No, so I always, Subhashish, buy a liquor actually, to be very frank. And the reason I buy liquor is not only for me, it's also for my father. Right. As a gift. So I pick up liquor. Of course, we buy chocolates because we have kids at the home. And of course, the best part has been if there's wife around, so it is always a perfume or cosmetic, because these are the things we say a core category in duty free.
Right.
That's what we buy.
Right, definitely, sir. My next question to you is, what is the one thing which you have started personally doing in this pandemic, जो पहले pandemic के पहले आप नहीं कर रहे थे?
Being an entrepreneur himself, Subhashis, I have taken my own decision after working with so many years that life, working, being professional, being connected is very well fine, but we need to do something which will differentiate us. So what will be the one thing? Working on some idea, but how do you differentiate yourself? Going on very well. And when time will come, definitely we'll let you know. But I'm working on a project which how you differentiate on your own self of being there alive even after those two pandemic. So working on a project and with help of my wife, of course, and very soon we'll share it when time comes.
Definitely. Thank you, sir. My next question to you is, what's your favorite Adani airport? And you cannot say Mumbai.
No. The best part, Subhashis, is I like Ahmedabad.
Oh, nice.
And the reason has been, it's not because of the structure or it has been because of the people, Subhashis. And
Yes.
I was never been to Gujarat. This is 2 years I complete in Ahmedabad. And the best part is people, yeah, very passionate, very polite. Nobody gets aggressive. What you have an experience. So it has been a very good experience so far.
Right. So the love for your own airport, the love for
yeah. Right. It's our group headquarters here, and it's our definitely it will be a pride for us to develop that in a way other airport has been developed.
Right. My final rapid fire question to you is, sir, if Mitthun sir was not in the airport commercial business or an airport commercial professional, what Mitthun sir would have been?
I could always have been part of a retail. Subhashis, definitely, because I started my career in Levi's even when I was in my college days, so I could definitely be in retail.
Absolutely right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was a very insightful session. A lot of new things for me personally as well to know, and I'm sure that the audiences would have known a lot of new things as well. Thank you for your insightful session today, and looking forward for much more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Appreciate Subhashis.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.